My name's Rob, and this is Eli. And we live in Maryland. We love the garden, don't we? And we wanted to talk about the importance of covering your plants when the weather's cold. And just, weeding your garden. If you don't weed your garden, the weeds are going to be bigger than the vegetables. And that's all there is to it. There's nothing you can do about it. You got to put in the time. 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes every other day, whatever it takes. But you got to do it. So, hey, let's check out the garden. Here's the garden. Of course, there's not a lot in it because it's not warm enough to plant all the squash and tomatoes, pumpkins, but this is the cool weather rows. And I cover them. If it's below 35, 36, I cover them, So you take lettuce, for example. It does decent in cold weather. Not so good in freezing weather. But if it's below 35, I cover it. Why take the chance? Sage lived from last year. It was all brown and dead looking. As soon as I covered it, boom, comes to life. Onions, garlic. I want to say that I put these in as sets. Maybe March 1st. As soon as I covered them, 5 days later, nothing was growing, but they were. Beets, Swiss chard. I started all these in the basement. Kale. And you cover them, and they grow. Spinach, broccoli. You have a row of carrots here, and if you know anything about gardening, you know carrots are so hard to get germinated, especially when the weather's cold. It can take like a month. I planted them, I kept them wet, and I covered them religiously, and lo and behold, here they come. I haven't always got this lucky with carrots, but I'm going to attribute it to covering with plastic. I know plastic sucks, but it outweighs itself just because of the bounty you get. I have a lot of friends that they put their stuff in the ground the same time of the year as me, and all their plants are hurting. They're yellow around the bottoms, and they don't grow very well. They're a third of the size, and they just say, well, I don't have a green thumb, I can't grow stuff. That's not what it is. You just got to realize the plant does not like to be so cold. You cover it up, and they just come to life. And let me show you what I use. Well, that's fertilizer I've been using this year. Fox Farms. Everything's organic in this garden, by the way. But there's some nice oregano. That survived from last year. But here's the plastic I use. I just have a cheap piece of fencing that I've had for years. I bent it into like an arch. This is some roofing material that I use to cover the beds through the whole year to keep the weeds down, and so the worms can come right up to the surface and make nice dirt. That's a whole different story. And this is the clear plastic. I just put the hoop house over the row, put the plastic right over it, weigh it down with some bricks or a tire or whatever, something heavy, and you just forget about it for the evening. Don't be worried, because if it gets down to maybe 28, all this stuff will be fine. Because I've had days 28. I even had a 26 night, and I come out in the morning because I'm worried everything's dead, and look at it, everything's fine. You got to cover it. Well, you don't have to, but that's what I think. And you got to weed. If you don't weed all the weeds out, they take that nutrition from the soil. And if you're growing organic, there's not a whole lot of nutrition in the soil to begin with. So you pull the weeds, and the plants will thank you by giving you more and more. If there's things y'all want to see, or you want me to make a video, maybe you want to see how I start the seeds or something, let me know. I might even do a lawn series, I've been working on the lawn. I got some apple trees and stuff. Definitely not a pro on that, but we'll learn together. My compost pile, my other compost pile. Let me know.